Hey everyone, it's Sam here, and today I'm going to show you how I've made this really fun triple diamond fold card. It all folds down like so, and that will go into a 5x7 envelope. This is a little bit under 5x7, just because I had to shrink it down a bit so I could get the three equal sections there. But it's a really fun style. I've done a template. I would say this one is a little bit more advanced. So if you're new to card making, maybe start off with the Christmas version that I've done. That's really simple. And then I've got this version, which I'm going to be doing a tutorial for next, and then maybe go on to this one. But if you just want to throw yourself in, I do mention in the video, but I really recommend you make the template first, which I show you, so that way you can kind of understand the fold and make any mistakes on that piece before you then use your nice cardstock. But hopefully it's still pretty straightforward for most of you. So let's get started. So this is the new Peanuts kit. You get loads in here. I'm going to focus on the stamp set because that's my kind of thing to use, but there is lovely ephemera as well. You get a little stamping block, you get a lovely little notebook there which has the cartoon wrapped around it, and the idea is obviously that's your journal, and then you've got all your bits here. But like the stickers and the ephemera, there's two lots there. That's what I'm going to be using a lot in my card making. The stickers are great for decorating your envelopes as well, and they're nice to stick on acetate. And then you get your papers. So I've already started to use some of them, and I've already pulled out the print that I'm going to use, but I think you get two of each one, and there's some really nice designs there. It's really fun. And then you've got little washi, and you've got some little post-its there as well, 3 little packs. So if you like journaling, or you know someone that does, I think it's a nice little gift. Those little journal bits I think I'm going to give to my mum, because my mum is really into journaling. She journals pretty much every day, so I think she'll get use out of those. But the papers and the ephemera I'm going to be keeping for my card making. And then for the sentiments, I've taken these ones, which are from the last Peanuts release that we did. So I'm using the big home there, which I just love. It's such a statement. And then I've taken the comfort and security little disc stamp. I've already stamped those here as well. So that's going to be where I'll kind of have the space to write my message. And then this is like the front little topper. All of the products, as always, are linked in the description box below. So I've got my template here. So it will all fold down like so. So it's just slightly under 5x7. I'll just remove that from the back. You can see. So that's how it will go in the envelope. And then that pops up. I have the topper there, and when they bring that round, that's their message. And that's how it will be displayed. Really, really fun. So ignore that part because that's this piece stuck on. So I'm going to go through this here. So just spread that out. So this is a piece of 9 by 6 3/4. So first of all, we're going to score at 1 1/8 down to 2 1/4. So this 6 3/4 is divided into 3 2 1/4 sections. Okay, so 1 1/8 down to 2 1/4. Okay, now the next one is at 2 1/4, but this time you're going down 2 lots. So we're going to go down, so 2 1/4. So we're going to go past the 2 1/4 here. We're going to go all the way down to 4 1/2. Okay, so that's down to 4 1/2, and then you should have 1 2 1/4. All right, so then the next score line is at 3 3/8, but you don't want to score right through here. 3 3/8, so I'm just going to put a little marker, okay, and then I'm just going to come down to that 2 1/4 here, okay, and then I'm going to start scoring. So now I'm scoring right down. Bring this up a little bit more. So now I'm scoring this line. So I've hovered over this part and then just scoring right down. And now we're going to score at 4 1/2, but just down to 2 1/4. Okay. Each of these spaces are all 1 1/8 apart. All right, that's another thing that you can look at. All of these gaps, that one, even if you imagine there's a line there, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay, so I've just come down to the 2 1/4, and now I'm going to hover my stylus over until I come down to the 4 1/2, and then I'm going to carry on scoring. So I've just missed that section, carried on scoring. Now we're going to score at 5 5/8 all the way down to the 4 1/2. And then we're going to score at 6 3/4. Again, missing that first section until the 2 1/4. And then you want to score all the way down. Okay, and then the last one is at 7 7/8, but you're just doing that from the 4 1/2 marker. Okay, so if I hold it up, hopefully it's catching the light, you can see all my lines. All right, pop it now on this side, and although they're going to be cut lines, I think if you score them too, you can make sure your other lines are joined up. So if we start from this side, this one here is going to be 2 1/4. So 2 1/4, but you're going to hover it. You don't want to score yet. We're scoring from here down to the last score line. So you'll find this one here. So 2 1/4, I'm just going to hover it down. I can see the bottom of this score line. So 2 1/4, and then I'm just going to go right through to the last one. And actually, I don't think I've done too bad joining up. You can see a little crossover there, but you can flip that over and you can just rub that out. You're not going to notice it. Okay, and then the next one is going to be at 4 1/2 from the bottom of this score line here, that first one to the last one along that track. So 4 1/2, I can see it's there, and then just all the way down, like so. Now on this one, can you see I've gone over a bit there and I've not quite joined it there, so you can just go back in this way. I'm just going to join that one back up, and then that one where I've gone over, I can just rub it out a little bit on the back. There we go. So you should have a rectangle, a square, a rectangle, and then it shifts along a bit. Rectangle, square, rectangle, shifts along again, rectangle, square, rectangle. That's exactly what we've got there. Okay, next we can do the crisscross. So that's why you wanted to do that little marker at 3 3/8. Okay, just on the top one, and then you'll want to do it, you want the center of the bottom one there as well, so that will be 5 5/8. Yeah, so just bring that down, just put a little marker there. It's just when you do the crisscross, those score lines, you know what you're joining up to. And then this piece here, which is for the, you know, the side panel, this is 5 by 6 3/4, and along the 5-inch side you want to score at 4 1/2. Okay, just fold and burnish. So what we're going to do now is we're going to score from the top of this first score line, 1 1/8, down to, so you're going to miss a score line down to the bottom there. You just treat each one on its own. Okay, so that's one little section, the rectangle, the square, and the rectangle. You want to create these score lines. So that one there, so I can see when you score down, as you score across, you're scoring to the top of this score line here, which you'll be able to see. It's hard obviously on the white card. So down, okay, and then I'm going to go from that 3 3/8 little marker, and now I'm going across to the bottom corner. So one big rectangle. Okay, going from the top down to the middle, and then the middle down to the end there. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it this way, and now I'm going to do this score line and join up, and then that one down to the bottom left. You can see all my lines. Should have like a little cracker kind of style. So triangle, diamond, triangle. All right, you want to repeat that in each section. So now I'm going to shift across. I'm going to go from this second score line now. Okay, do the same crosses again, and then again on the bottom. Okay, so hopefully now you can see all mine have gone over a little bit there, but that's all going to fold in. Also, something I should have probably said, although I'm using a 300 GSM, I actually don't recommend this heavier weight. I'd recommend something more around 230 GSM. I might get a bit of cracking, but I'm hoping with my decoration you're not really going to see it. But you can see on this here just where it's gone a little bit there, but I am going to be covering that with the decoration, so it should be okay, but you want to go a bit lighter. Okay, now we can cut each of these sections. So if I lay it back down, can you see where I've done the red lines? So that's literally, you're cutting each of those sections. So again, break it down. So just look at this one on its own. You're cutting right down along it and then joining to the end of that next one. And then that one, again, just cutting right down. Make yourself a template first, because I think it will really help you, because you can make the mistakes on the template, and then once you're 100% that you know you've got your folds and everything correct, then you can, you know, make the real one. I'm going to use my scoreboard. It doesn't actually damage it, or if it does, you're not seeing it because it's in the groove, but I just find it really good for getting a perfectly straight line, and it's actually quite safe as well. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp. There we go, and then there we go. Okay, so now I've got these 3 sections. Next, you want to fold all of your vertical folds. So just however you can do it, just bring them out, fold them kind of both ways. Just do that on all the vertical folds. Okay, once you've got them all moving in both directions, then you want to fold all of your diagonal folds so they're mountains. So now you should already start to see it wanting to go into that shape. So if you just pinch the pieces either side of the diamond, like so, and then fold it all under. And as you do them all, you have to help them along initially. They will fold down, like so. So you want to have valleys at the start of each one. And then as long as all of the ones in between the little triangles are valley folds again, and on the opposite side, and then valleys again. In fact, everything's valley. It's just all the diagonals are your mountain folds, and that is the fold. Very, very cool. Now, like I said, I have got a little bit of cracking. There is a little way around that. If you just take a little bit of liquid glue, pop it on your finger, and literally just go around the edges, and it will just smooth any of the cracking. Like I said, you're not really going to see mine. And the middle one, I've got that big disc that's going to go over it anyway. So if you have only got, you know, a heavy weight in white, for example, that you want to use, you can get away with it, but just bear in mind you may get a little bit of cracking there. Don't use a tacky glue for obvious reasons, it's going to stay tacky, but just a quick grab glue, and that will just kind of stop that getting any worse. There we go. Right, so then we want to stick this piece on to here. Okay, if you wanted to, you could have it on this side. It is up to you. You know, you could have that, and then you've got the front there, but being a bit lazy as well, I kind of like it that when they open the card, that is the front of the card. So, but it's up to you. With so many of the cards I make, there are so many really good variations and different ways to change them up. So feel free to change this one if you want. And then you're just going to stick that behind. Okay, then I've got my mats and layers already done for this side here. So I've got a piece of 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. So I'm going to stick that one down there. And then I've got this piece here of 4 by 6 1/4, and that is going to go on top. I've then also got 2 of these squares here, so you can see what I mean about kind of covering that. Just thought the black popped quite nicely with all the white. These pieces here are the same size as the square there, so what's that, 1 5/8, but you could go smaller if you want. You could go bigger as well, but obviously it's going to overhang the bottom there, so bear that in mind. But they're going to go there, and then I thought it'd look quite good with that larger disc in the middle. So you could put circles over them. I thought that looked quite good. And then I'm going to have my characters on the black, because that will pop a bit more. I'm going to talk you through your template to do these matte layers in a minute, and I'll stick those down when I do that bit, but I'm going to get all this stuck down and then I can show you that. Okay, so I've stuck those down. I've actually just changed it. I brought these down to 1 3/8 instead of 1 5. I think it looks quite nice with the white frame, and because I put that glue around where the cracking was, you wouldn't know anyway. It looks nice and neat. Okay, so to make your templates for these, I've only done a mat. I haven't done a mat and a layer, but hopefully if I show you this, you'll be able to work it out. So you want to cut yourself a piece of 3 1/8 by 6 1/2. Okay, put a little mark at 1 1/8 and 1 1/8 at the bottom and draw a line, and then again at 2 1/4, 2 1/4 at the bottom, do a line, and then along this side here 2 3/8, and again 2 3/8, join it up, and then 4 1/2, and again 4 1/2, and join it up. You then want to remove this one, and this one. Make sure you got the 1 1/8 up the top here. Don't do it that way, and remove that one, otherwise it won't fit. So make sure it's up that way with the 1 1/8 and the 2 1/4. Okay, cut these away and then use it as your template to draw around, rather than marking your pattern paper. Now if it's directional, just make sure that you're flipping your template when you go to draw around your paper. But you'll see how that fits perfectly in there. If you want, you don't have to do a perfectly shaped piece. You could do like a rectangle that fits in there, or you could do a longer rectangle that fits in there, and then 2 little smaller pieces. So you know, it doesn't have to be that way. But then I just got the paper that was in the kit and just laid the template over the top and then drew around it. So it's going to go there and there, and I think it really helps that design pop. And then I just coloured the characters in the colours. They're actually the markers that are part of this little mini release. These ones here. So they're going to stick down there, and then I'm going to have, I thought maybe this one with Charlie Brown, maybe there, because that goes nice with that sentiment. I've still got a bit of space there to write a message, or write on the back if you want. And then I thought it's like he's given the cupcake to Lucy, and then we've got little Woodstock there. He's already there, so maybe I'll have him maybe on the home up there, possibly, something like that. Okay, so there is the finished card. I love that when you pull it out, you can see the design. You could decorate all of these as well if you wanted to, and then you can see it displays really nicely. And then to fold it, you just fold that over, and then you just kind of push them together. But it does all fit in an envelope. Let me just grab one, just flip it over. In fact, I could put some of the stickers on the envelope. But it does all go in there quite well, even with the dimension. So I hope you've enjoyed today's card style from me, this kind of triple diamond fold, I guess. I've then got this one, which again, there will be a tutorial coming, and then I've got the Christmas version as well, but I've put that away with all the Christmas cards for the minute, but you'll be able to see that. They'll be in the playlist coming up now, so check them out if you like this style. It's really, really fun, and hopefully if you start off with the basic one, which I'd say the Christmas one is, and then maybe move on to this one when that goes up, and then maybe this one, I think you'll be fine. All of the products that I've used today you can find linked in the description box below this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed today. It really does help out, and drop a comment as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.